go ahead and call this meeting to order. So we can stay on the schedule. I think everyone has an agenda in front of them.
Or at least we've read it.
Yeah, read the agenda. Okay, we'll go ahead and start off with precision cutting.
You can, here's another. Everybody knows I'm challenged in printing stuff out, so everybody handed me one.
Yeah. Precision cutting, we have Mr. Joseph Norris here. And Councilman Pike, I think you'll be interested in what Mr. Norris has to say.
All right.
He spoke earlier today.
Oh, this is Mr. Norris.
That's right.
Okay.
Exactly. So if you don't mind, you can go ahead.
Is this the speaking spot in here?
You know what? You can stand right over there if you don't mind.
Really, we mostly have people stand up in the chairs. No.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
I'm going to lay some cards here if you guys just want to pass them out. We are Precision Concrete Cutting. We're a national company. We're the largest trip hazard removal company in the nation. We're a national company. We're locally owned. We're owned in Montgomery, Alabama. We do a lot of business from Mobile all the way to Huntsville, okay, all throughout the state. Trying to think of the closest place nearby that we do business, and that's probably Mountain Brook. We do business in Mountain Brook about every 3 months. We sort of just kind of chip away at their sidewalks, and we're about 75%, I think, through the city. What we do that kind of sets us apart and makes us a little different than the traditional method of concrete repair is we saw cut. We have a patented saw that we use, and so anytime you have elevated panels next to adjacent panels, we have a patented piece of equipment that actually removes the elevated portion of the panel and creates a smooth transition. Okay?
Wow.
So everything that we do guarantee that it's ADA compliant, and we try our best to increase the walkability, the safety, decrease the liability for the city, and like I said, increase walkability. I've got these packages here that I just want to briefly walk through. How much time do I have?
How much time do you need? 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Probably not even that.
Okay.
The
You got
questions will probably last longer.
That'll be fun.
Since I'm in the sidewalk business.
If you guys want these, if you're interested. I've pretty much hit this first page here, but what I wanted to show you is just an example of a project that we did in Huntsville, just to kind of give you a better perspective of a project. Like I said, I already hit on the first page. If you skip over to the third page, that's a cost savings page. So what that does is I always do a cost analysis for projects. I want to show you what we're doing the project for, what we're saving you compared to removing and replacement concrete. I'll take the concrete rate in the region, use the square footage rate for the standard contractor, anywhere from $11 to $15 usually, and show you what we can save you. We're a consistent 70 to 90% savings versus the removal and replacement. So the ideal theory here would be to throw a net over everything that we can repair in this manner, and then go back and remove and replace what absolutely has to be removed and replaced. So does that kind of make sense?
Yeah,
how you would capitalize or
absolutely.
maximize on the savings there? So this is the specs on that one particular project, and just to kind of walk you through what happened. Or let me back you up for 1 second. If you flip over one page, that's just a cost savings chart that we put together for just some recent projects. So if you just look down that list, that's the project site, the number of repairs in the second column, the cost that we did the project for, and the amount of money that we saved versus removal and replacement for those projects. And I'm going to leave these with you guys if you feel like going back and taking a look. So just like I said, to kind of let you know how the project got started in Huntsville, they came to me on the next page with that map, and they said, Joseph, I want you to survey this area. So this highlighted area, and I think I already showed this to you, didn't I? So they gave me this highlighted area, and they said, Joseph, I want you to survey this area. So another thing we do is we do a really comprehensive survey, pretty comparable to what engineering companies do. We can develop up to 8 criteria in these surveys. So if you want to come up with anything from broken stop signs to curbs to manholes, sewers, anything you want us to look out for, we document in that survey, and you get a comprehensive itemized list of everything that we found. Okay, so we went and did a survey of this map. You know, like I said, they came to me with the highlighted areas and they asked for the survey. On the second page here, that's the results of the survey. There will be a pin drop, longitude, latitude, and coordinates for each item. These are 100-year-old sidewalks, so you may think that they're pretty covered up, and that's because they are. One of two things are going on here. Either they need to be removed and replaced, you know, being cracked, sunken, damaged beyond repair, or that pin represents a place that we can repair. And we can tell that by the number on the pin. And of course, after a survey, you would get a larger scale map that you could read a little better. But on the next page, that's your list that you get. That's the itemized list. All right. So that first column, the number column, that represents the number that coordinates or corresponds with the pin number.
Okay.
So if everybody will just look at number 4 for a second.
Okay.
We know that number 4 is 3/4 inch high elevation, so that's a trip hazard. Anything over a 1/4 inch, ADA deems a trip hazard. Just to give you an example, I saw several areas that we could repair coming in from. I'm not sure what this street is.
20th Street? Right
20th Street.
Yes.
It's actually 20th Street. So just to give you a little perspective there. So number 4 is 3/4 inches high, tapers down to a 0 differential at 3.5 lineal feet. So it may be a 4-foot wide panel, and at 3.5 feet, 3.5 lineal feet, it tapers to a 0 differential, and it's fine over here, but it's elevated over here. So instead of removing and replacing that panel, you can repair the damaged section by removing the elevated portion. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. And so, you know, for this particular panel, there's a cost of $50, $52. Probably costing upwards of $250 to remove and replace the panels. So when you put all the panels in the city in perspective, that's a lot of savings and a lot of costs. So if you move on over here, you know, we got a location column, and this is automatically generated. It looks like a lot of work, but the software does a lot of it for us, the patented software. So the location, you're automatically going to have the description. We know that this was across from Regions Bank, next to Morgan and Johnson Associates on Madison Street. And we know that it's 1.31 inch feet. These first numbers over here under the size columns, they convert to inch feet. And the reason we do that is because we charge by the inch foot. And what that does for us is that puts everything in a formula so nothing's estimated. So we know exactly, no surprises there. We know exactly what the cost is going to be for projects. It helps us better in estimating for the city, and helps the city budget better. It just gives us the ability to be completely transparent and auditable, and give you guys the ability to either kind of audit our footsteps before or after a project. So that's the way that the survey works. And so that kind of takes you through where we generally start, which is a survey, okay, and then all the way through the proposal, which would include the cost analysis, all the way to the itemized data sheet.
What's your cost on surveying a portion of Irondale as far as?
You know,
or is there a free estimate?
we do free surveys for a certain size area.
Okay.
So say you want to designate 3 particular blocks. I'm going to survey that for you for free, because in order for me to get a project with you guys, I'm going to have to show you some costs. And so generally, to begin this kind of relationship, we do some free survey work. And what that usually leads to is a city saying, you know, I have this dollar amount that I can generate a PO for to do every 3 months, or, you know, just to use as an example. So to answer your question, yes, we do that to begin with.
A sidewalk slab, how thick is it?
4 inches.
4 inches. So actually shaving off 3/4 isn't that bad.
Right. So very good. I think I know where you're getting.
Yeah,
to maintain the structural integrity of these panels, we have a rule of thumb that we're not going to cut out more than we're going to leave behind. Okay. So we like to leave behind 2 inches. And just another standard rule of thumb: 1 inch of concrete can hold up to 1,200 pounds per square foot. So we're still looking at a small car here for 1 inch, but we don't like to do that unless there's a specific incident that you guys direct us to do that.
Well, I can stand on it, but I don't know if anybody can join me.
And why were you looking at me?
I was telling you, don't join me.
Well, yeah, really good question. We do keep a good perspective on that, and we don't like to cut out what we're gonna leave behind. And that brings up a good point. Say we've got a panel elevated 3 inches and a quarter, we're gonna mark that on that data list as R&R. This panel needs to be removed and replaced. All right, so after we've thrown that net over everything that we can repair, you may have 5 to 10% of that project that has to be replaced versus replacing 100% of the project.
Do you replace, or do you just repair?
We do replace
They do the
with a
whole-
separate company. We've just acquired a different company, but kind of a different story there. This is what we like. The theory, as I said a little earlier, would be to throw that net using this tech, in order to save the most money. Throw the net over what we can repair with this method, come back and replace what absolutely has to be replaced, or even erect new construction, new sidewalks.
You do new construction?
Yes, ma'am.
He just acquired a company
Right.
who does that.
Okay, that's good to know.
This project in Troy, 1,426 repairs, how many blocks was that? Do you know?
Oh, man, it was most of the city. And that also is a good point, just to kind of give you some perspective on the area that can be covered.
Yeah, that's, so I can get a better handle on what we got.
What's
What's the population here?
It's almost 14,000 based on the last estimate.
And they
Yeah,
have
it went up
university.
according to the estimated census between 2012 and 2013, although they showed we declined in population by 1 person. I don't know how they estimated that, but it's like 13,769 was the estimate.
I can tell you this, we did a project recently for the city of Bruton. We did a project recently for the city of Laverne, and we covered 90% of the city's sidewalks. Now, they didn't have sidewalks in every single street,
You're right.
We don't have that.
Yeah.
and they didn't either.
Most
We were able to
ours
go
are
through their
down
whole
there.
city for about a $25,000 project and save them upwards of $100,000. So, I want to give you guys the best perspective to what's similar to Irondale. And I think that would be something along the lines of a Bruton or a Laverne, population-wise. And that's probably an uneducated guess.
Bruton probably is.
Bruton.
Yeah, I'm not sure Laverne's.
Laverne's
as big
probably
as we are.
smaller
Yeah,
than Bruton.
it is.
But, I could update a new list of just small cities and just show you guys some numbers.
Comparable
Or-
to.
Right, that's what I like to do, and I think that would be Mountain Brook. Like I say, we go through Mountain Brook and we've got on a system with them. So what they do by implementing a program is, if they were ever to get in any kind of legality issue or a trip and fall, they've got a program in place that's proactive. So it really kind of saves them and kind of puts a nice mark on them for having that program in place.
And do you do regular inspections in Mountain Brook?
Well, what we do,
Or
and let me
do
just
it-
give you an example of
yes.
how we do that, and that may be a template for what you'd like to use. We've phased out the city into phases, probably 7 or 8 phases. And what we do is every 2-3 months, or whenever they can generate a PO, we'll go and we'll chip away at a phase. Okay? Regardless of what that PO amount is, break it up however you want it. I build these proposals so we can customize it to how Irondale needs to see it.
Yeah, so if you come in and say, everything we want you to do is gonna be 100,000, we say, well, let's do it in 25,000
Yes,
increments, that's
yes.
no problem.
That's no problem.
Okay.
How do you come up with your cost savings?
Because that's where the cost
So
comes
for the
up.
cost savings, you take, when they do
What
this,
you comparing your
so when
savings
they do the
Total
survey,
replacement.
I get a square footage of the sidewalks that need to be removed and replaced. So I take that square footage and I multiply it by the approximate rate that a contractor would charge to do the removal and replacement. Does that make sense?
to? Yeah, so you're taking a medium, because one contractor may charge less than what you.
I'll use, for the cost analysis, I'll use whatever you guys want me to use. And if it's not specified, I'll do a little research in it and I'll figure out what's the closest cost. I've had cities share with me their internal costs, their cost for the public works to do it, and that's usually down there around $7 to do it, versus the $11 to $15 contractor rate. So even at $7, we're saving about $4 a square foot. Does that make makes sense. Even if their cost is $7 a square foot, our cost is something like $3 a square foot.
Okay.
That was my next
$2.50, I
question.
think, last time I checked.
When is the last time, and Mayor, you probably can answer this, we had to have some repair work. I did mention to Mr. Norris about we just finished a streetscape project here in the city, but it didn't cover the whole downtown area, and Donna, I guess you can answer that. When the last time we had to repair some of our sidewalks just
About
down here?
a
in our
month
area?
ago.
Okay.
I had to shave one off like he's talking about, it was raised.
Mm-hmm.
We shaved it off, I sent them down there and we shaved it off about a month or so ago.
Okay.
We had to
And
repair.
we do that a
several
lot.
down this way a couple of years ago where trees had kind of.
Yes,
There was
the roots.
Tree
are-
roots,
When-
tree roots,
Yeah.
soil shifting, not too much freeze and thaw in this particular region, but there's several things that can cause the panels to displace or become uneven.
And y'all do take care of that when y'all have the root problem as far as?
Right.
How do you accomplish that? If the roots are pushing it up, do you saw off the roots, or is that what you do?
So, the repair that we do does not disturb or aggravate the root or touch the root at all. So, you know, these trees, once they're beyond the 20-year growth stage, they're beyond their aggressive growth stage. You know, once we complete a project, we will, whoever we are doing this deal with, will agree upon some language that says, all right, within this 3-year period, any of these panels that pop up, you come back and fix it. You know, there will be some language in there like that depending on our agreement. But as far as actually going in and cutting the tree root or installing those walls, we don't do that.
I didn't know how you accomplished.
But at the same time, you know, we're charging a fifth of the cost of what it would be to remove and replacement. So if we had to do it 5 times, you're still not meeting the cost of, you know, we don't operate on single instances. We operate on volume. Our cost is designed such that we price entire projects or projects to be broken up in phase to do the complete project. We don't do too much of, you know, come and do this one panel for the tree problem or.
Well, no, I just wanted to know what your solution was.
Right.
You know.
Well, yeah, like I said, we repair it. It's a permanent repair. What the Mother Nature's gonna do, we can't really put a guarantee or a warranty on that. What other questions you guys have?
I think that's it. Ms. Norris, if you don't mind, Council Pike, I think it's more, you have more of an area with.
I'm more
sidewalks.
concerned.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If-
Because I have the historical district, and down here we have sidewalks, and I'm sure that there are tripping hazards. You know, I want people to be able to walk or ride the bicycle or whatever, their children, and be safe,
Right.
you know.
Maybe if you don't mind, you and Council Pike could kind of
Let
get
me give you
together,
my
work
card.
together, and probably do a little survey or whatever in there.
Yes.
If, you know, if
And-
you can have some input as far as what needs to be done, that'd be good too.
It would. And
So
we
y'all
talked
get
about
together
some
and kind
maps
of
together
discuss
and
Yeah.
some things, yeah.
Probably
As far as
90% of
what's
our sidewalks are in her district, I would
Yes.
guess.
Mhm.
Right. Okay.
Now, that's not saying we don't need any other sidewalks in other districts.
That's right.
Sure.
Uh,
Well,
We
it
do.
sounds like a good starting point if that's the area of
We do.
emphasis or
Right.
priority.
Sidewalks connect communities, they help communities, and we need to have
Yeah,
as
get
many
people outside.
as we can, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I agree.
Grants Mill would be a wonderful place.
Well, I was thinking of
So we'll get together and look at some maps.
Going up
Yeah.
there.
We'll take a ride around, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
That would, I'm thinking all of
You
Grants
know, you
Mill
just
from
call
all
me,
leads on
I'll
that.
make time, and we'll go out and we'll
For grants-
talk about it.
grants.
How's that?
So let's look at a map, get on the phone maybe tomorrow or the next day, and figure out a plan.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you,
Anyone
Mr.
else?
Norris. No,
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Thank you for the invitation.
Appreciate it.
Thank
for
you.
the time.
Thank you so
All right.
much.
Okay.
Appreciate the information.
Have a great meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
You gonna leave your books? or-
I can.
Can you leave them, just
I
in case
can
somebody else
if
wants?
anyone's interested.
Yeah, just leave them on the table right there, that'll be
Do that,
fine.
not a problem.
Thank you,
Thank you
appreciate it.
very much.
Thanks, man.
Nice talking with you.
Have a
also.
great meeting.
Okay.
I look
We'll
forward
be
to
in
hearing
touch.
from you.
Thank you.
All right. I think next on the agenda is Slade. Yeah, I recognize
Hello.
that name. I sure do. Hey, how you doing? Hey, I didn't see you come in, you doing all right? Oh, okay. Hey,
James, you need a card.
Yeah.